Judiciary Committee, so you have already voted in favor of the articles of impeachment. What do you think when you hear of the president's argument there just about the precedent that is being set, or perhaps it was already set 21 years ago?
Well, I think that he didn't understand it from the beginning. You remember, he said he'd welcome it. But, you know, for us, we felt such an incredible sense of urgency because of his attempt to interfere in the 2020 election. And so the abuse of power and the obstruction of Congress, if he thinks it's trivial, remember, he wouldn't give us one document. He tried to ban everybody from coming to speak to us. So I think that maybe the seriousness of impeachment is finally beginning to hit him.
What about the converse precedent being set, which is it okay for a U.S. president to ask a foreign country to investigate a rival?
Well, there's two issues here. The one that I have the most problem with is the second article, which says
obstruction of Congress.
Yeah, which says that if a president doesn't comply with what Congress does, you can be impeached. Every president's going to be impeached going forward if they say, you know, we're not going to give you what you asked for. I think this is reckless on the part of the Democrats to go in that direction. And I'd be stunned if the more Democrats don't vote against that than vote against the first one. The first one, look, the representative, I have a different point of view on what we believe the president did. I don't think what the president did was right in that conversation. I don't think it was anywhere near impeachable. I'll say to my good friend Paul, who was with Bill Clinton at the time, every Democrat in 1998 agreed that what the president did was illegal. There was no question. Well, did he commit?
They said it was wrong. They said it was wrong.
It was immoral.
No. That he committed. Democrat after Democrat walked to the floor of the United States Senate and said, yes, what he did was break the law. He perjured himself.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. And the reality is that they admitted that what he did.
He didn't violate any law.
But he committed perjury. There's no question.
But in terms of the second article, though,
the reality
if you look at Clinton, if you look at Nixon, nobody stonewalled the way he did. He's engaged in a cover-up from the beginning.
The remedy, Congresswoman, as you know, as every Congress in history has done, the remedy is to go to court and get the court to compel him. And they haven't done that. That's the problem.
I think that's not mutually exclusive. When the president says we, the country, or the Democrats, are trivializing this, we give our president 6,800 nuclear weapons. He commands them with no check or balance. He has 1.3 million men and women under arms. We saw him yesterday at the Army-Navy game. Every one of those midshipmen, every one of those cadets is under his command. He has the most power of any human being in the history of humanity. And yet now he says he can do what he likes. He can leverage that power to advantage himself in the election. If that is, as Professor Gerhardt said in his testimony, if that's not impeachable, what is?
Mary Catherine, where do you come down on this?
Yeah, I'm on record as saying that the conversation was bad behavior, and that was pretty clear to me from the beginning. The question is a judgment call on whether you impeach and remove for it. And I think many Democrats, look, obviously some of it is political and partisan. Many Democrats, I think, feel that they have an obligation to move forward on this to check the president. And I think it's worth having a marker down to say this is bad behavior. I think censure might have been a better strategic move and would have accomplished that. The thing that I keep seeing is that the extent to which people in this town think that we are inexorably headed toward removal of the president and everyone is sort of behind this, and obviously these things should happen, that's not reflected in polling, and it's not reflected in particularly independents in swing states who are really important to getting on board. And Democrats are going